I only know they are freedom fighters. Yeah, me I know they were freedom fighters. They fought for the rights of Kenyans.
They were not criminals. I don't believe so. They were actually freedom fighters because their fruits are seen. We have independence which they fought for.
The fight against the colonial government made the Mau Mau fighters revive African traditions like the oaths of unity.
Nitware na jamba citu ta mathenge na mundu gwitwoke maathina mari itaine hamwe na anake aitu aria mathiite kurwa mbara ya 1939 nene ya 1943 ni mathomithirie andu.
With no money or weapons, and only with the knowledge of their land, the Mau Mau fighters waged a guerrilla war against the colonial government. They raided and killed opponents freely and soon established themselves as a formidable enemy to the colonial forces. By 1952, the Mau Mau had arrived.
Nilikuwa msijana kama huyu. Na sisi tukabio ni sisi tutapepaka misigo ya hawa wakijana. Wale tulikuwa na wakina Kasamu. Wahama liko nini mutoni. Sasa tukatoka kaa msugu alijarifu kutupiga na si kupotea huku kutupiga mpaka imajenesi ikaigia. Majenesi kuigia sisi kuna kaa huku mtoni hakuna watu wanatupatia chakula. Tunakula hata nyama ya mtoni. Hata nini tunakula. So hallelujah.
In Nairobi, capital of Kenya, Europeans and Africans still walk the streets in fear of the dreaded Mau Mau. For it is that band of fanatics whose bloody deeds have cast a dark shadow across the face of Kenya. Some are brought in to face justice, others are shot in fights with police and troops, but thousands more escape to continue their crusade of murder and violence. There is little reliable information about the setup of the terrorist organization, for few members even know from whom they take their orders. They obey blindly, savagely attacking the defenseless, burning, looting, murdering. Kenya is the battlefield of a conflict that cannot end till the Mau Mau is dissolved forever.
On the 1st of June 1963, Mzee Jomo Kenyatta became the first Prime Minister of self-governing Kenya.
Kenyatta was the first president of independent Kenya.
Na mashamba yetu harambe! Na mifugo yetu harambe! Na serikali yetu tukufu harambe!
I pledge my loyalty to the President and the nation of Kenya, my readiness and duty to defend the flag of our republic, my devotion to the words of our national anthem, my life, strength and service in the task of nation building, in the living spirit embodied in our national motto, Harambe.
An ideological and even personal rift was growing between President Jomo Kenyatta and Vice President Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, and in between them, the foxy and charismatic Tom Mboya was playing his cards.
Kenya's President Jomo Kenyatta died on the 22nd of August 1978 at Mombasa State House.
I never saw Mzee dying. You know, there's some people who are, you think they are. I contemplated his death.
Mimi Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi naapa kwamba nitakuwa mwaminifu kwa Jamhuri ya Kenya na kuitumikia kwa moyo wangu wote.
Who would lose it? Today, His Excellency President Daniel Arap Moi went to church. Today, His Excellency President Daniel Arap Moi told the West, opened an agricultural show, warned his political opponents. Today, His Excellency, today, His Excellency, today, His Excellency President Daniel Arap Moi.
And then we say we will go to Kamkunji with or without a permit. Matiba is using his connections within the Matatu movement to mobilize. And I was using my connections in the football field to mobilize people to go to Kamkunji. On the 4th of July, Matiba and Rubia are arrested. The following day, on the 5th, I'm arrested. Then on the Sabasaba itself, they arrest Imanyara, they arrest Kamenwa, they arrest Mohammed Ibrahim, several others escaped like Kamau Kuria, Kiraitu Murungi. That triggered another wave of resistance because people went to Kamkunji. A number of them were killed.
The symbolic victory over KANU in the Uhuru Park construction saga reignited the fire among the intimidated pro-reform agitators who discovered in the episode that KANU was not exactly invincible. And they renewed not only their push for the repeal of Section 2A of the Constitution, but also the release of political prisoners.
Sisi tuseme kwamba tupungue, tuondoe ile section ya katiba ya Kenya ya 2A.
I think he knew that his time was up. I think he knew that there is no way he could continue to swim against the tide.
Naapa kwamba nitatenda kazi zangu za urais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya kwa uaminifu.
January 2003, the Kibaki government's dream of free primary education for all Kenyans was finally actualized.
A sea of people. At the historic Uhuru Park that has lately become a venue for major political statements in the country. The last time a crowd of this magnitude was witnessed here was in 2002 when President Kibaki was taking over the instruments of power. ODM supporters gathered here to witness a major event in the party's history.
ODM! ODM! Na makabila yote ya Kenya watashirikishwa katika serikali yetu ya ODM.
After a marathon campaign tour of the coast, President Kibaki was back in the city, seeking to make one lasting impression.
Yaani, tunayo shilingi bilioni 3 na ambao itasaidia akina mama wainue hali ya maisha yao na mambo ambayo wanataka. Hapo tunasema vijana tuwasaidie aina hiyo.
Honorable Moi Kibaki, 4,584,721. 4,584,721. Mr. Kukubo Nixon, 5,927. Honorable Kenneth Matiba, 8,046. Honorable Kalonzo, 879, 903. Bishop Pius Mwangi, 9,667. Joseph Ngacha, 21,171. David Ngede, 5,976. Honorable Raila Odinga, 4,352,993. 4,352,993. Rajput Nazlin, 8,624. This means Honorable Moi Kibaki is the winner. The Commission therefore declares Honorable Moi Kibaki as the President of Kenya.
Mimi Mwai Kibaki naapa kwamba nitatenda kazi zangu za urais kwa Jamhuri ya Kenya kwa uaminifu na kutimiza wajibu wa kazi hizo kwa bidii na kwa moyo mkujufu, na kwamba nitawatendea haki watu wote wa mujibu wa sheria, mila na desturi za Jamhuri ya Kenya bila uoga, upendeleo, huba wala chuki. Ewe Mwenyezi Mungu unisaidie.
Sisi tulipoteza wazazi. Najua hapo hivyo, kwa hizo harakati tulikuwa tunaishi karibu na barabara, lakini hizi maneno na roadblock zikakuja, wakaja nyumbani, na mimi kusikia hivyo nikatoroka Wazazi wangu nikawaacha hadi hapo sasa ndo sikujua vile ilivyoenda. Tulienda tukapata hawayuko, aliuliwa.
People lost property, people lost family members, people lost so much, and many people were bitter. But the moment we got to show them the photos and had counseling sessions with them, people began to open up. And the moment you open up, the moment you speak out about something that's within, something that's hurting you, you begin to heal. So some people, the healing process, I would say, has actually begun.
Kenyans, why did you do this to yourselves? That's why we have camps. Let's all come together and build the nation, because unity is strength. Thank you.
Hii shairi niliandika yani ili hata wanafunzi wenzangu ambao wamepitia changamoto kama hiyo, hata hao wakuwe na changamoto na kitu la kusema.
The eagerly awaited face-to-face talks between President Mwai Kibaki and Raila Odinga finally took place.
The Nairobi-Thika Highway has been described as one of the finest pieces of infrastructure this side of the Sahara. Contractors responsible for the project are putting final touches ahead of its official commissioning this Friday by President Mwai Kibaki.
When you take your first step into the newly constructed railway station, you'll be mistaken to think that you're somewhere in Europe. Kenya's first train station in over 8 decades is an architectural masterpiece that captures the aspirations of a country with the goal of turning itself into a middle-income country.
The referendum campaigns brought to the fore many faces in the political and religious arena, and in many ways highlighted their vested interests beyond their public positions. Among the key figures in the Yes camp are President Mwai Kibaki, Prime Minister Raila Odinga, his deputies Uhuru Kenyatta and Musalia Mudavadi, as well as Vice President Kalonzo Musyoka. The notable faces in the No camp are Higher Education Minister William Ruto, retired President Daniel Arap Moi, NCCK Secretary General Peter Karanja, and Cardinal John Jue.
Kenyans overwhelmingly and peacefully voted yes for a new constitution. Afterwards, Kenya's Electoral Authority officially ratified the proposed constitution. Isaac Hassan is interim chairman of Kenya's Independent Electoral Commission.
For yes, 5,954,767. This represents 67.25% of the votes.
In his promulgation speech, President Kibaki paid glowing tribute to gallant Kenyans who fought for major reforms in the country and Kenyans who voted for the new constitution.
This new constitution is an embodiment of our best hopes, aspirations, ideals, and values.
All the 6 suspected perpetrators of post-election violence have welcomed the ICC summons, each declaring their willingness to appear in court in The Hague on the 7th of April.
Deputy Prime Minister Uhuru Kenyatta, partyless for about 2 months after ditching the Cockerel Party KANU, ultimately unveiled his new political vehicle in his quest to succeed President Mwai Kibaki at State House.
The National Alliance presents the I Believe Experience.
The National Alliance, TNA, whose symbol is a dove and the slogan is I Believe. Kenyatta dubbed the party's launch the I Believe Experience.
Tutaanza mpango ya vijana kupata pesa. Grant, not loans. Grant, not loans. Yani hiyo pesa ambaye hawarudishi.
To the sounds of claps from the audience, the 7 men and 1 woman who have declared their interest in the country's top job for the next 5 years took the stage, ready to make history in the country's first ever live televised presidential debate. And beyond the walls of the Brookhouse School, the audiences were all set to be part of this history, following closely what would be a 3-hour marathon that would offer a glimpse into the candidates' worth, and not just in their words, but in what they had to offer as well.
I've said in my plan, I will invest in security.
We can try and parry around it, but the fact of the matter is that tribalism is real.
The reason why tribalism is a problem to us is because leaders have used it as a means of allocating resources and positions.
This timetable, I don't know who brought it, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then the dinner you come up with phase 1 where you take soup and mushroom, and then phase 2, phase 3.
What will you do?
If you want to be saved from corrupt leaders, if you want to be saved from corrupt leaders, you adopt preventive medicine. Principle number 1, eat when you feel the pangs of hunger. Number 2, when you feel the pangs of hunger, don't fill your belly with food. You eat every githeri and then there is no space for water. You need to give a third water, a third food, and then a third breathing space.
Oh, I came at 7 a.m.
You came at 7 a.m., so that makes it what, 3.5 hours now, nearly 4?
Yes, about 4 hours.
4 hours, okay. What's the mood in the queue? How are people feeling?
People are motivated. We want to vote. We want to make sure that we also vote the people we want to be in the new leadership. This is a very calm election. I see everybody is willing to support one another.
We are voting in peace, so we can see how the vote will have to come. We are waiting up to evening, so we can see how it will be. Okay. We not hope for the last 5 years. We hope for the best.
Hope for the best?
Yeah.
Raila Odinga, 5,340,546. Uhuru Kenyatta, 6,173,433.
The IEBC chairman then presented Kenyatta with the electoral certificate, a document that made him the next tenant at State House.
Because something like this could go too far if one is introducing new evidence in their submissions.
My lords, senior counsel will have his opportunity. This is the petitioner's day in court. Surely he must sit down.
After extensive deliberations, we are happy to announce the Supreme Court has reached a unanimous decision. It is the decision of the court that the said elections were indeed conducted in compliance with the Constitution and the law.
Ladies and gentlemen, the court has now spoken. Although we may not agree with some of its findings, and despite all the anomalies we have pointed out, our belief in constitutionalism remains supreme. Casting doubt on the judgment of the court could lead to higher political and economic uncertainty and make it more difficult for our country to move forward. We must soldier on in our resolve to reform our politics and institutions.
I, Uhuru Kenyatta, in full realization of the high calling, I assume as President of the Republic of Kenya,
do swear that I will be faithful.
Do swear that I will be faithful
and bear true allegiance to the Republic of Kenya.
And bear true allegiance to the Republic of Kenya.
A rare opportunity presented itself as well for Kibaki's aide-de-camp, who, after the handing over of the sword, making Kenyatta the commander-in-chief,
ya Kenya,
shifted to his new boss, Uhuru Kenyatta. And so, for the first time, he too had an opportunity after more than a year, standing behind his commander, to stand in front of him and honor his years of service, before taking his place once again behind his new commander-in-chief. And those rarely in the public limelight, like NSIS boss Michael Gishangi, also bidding farewell to his former boss. And with that, it was time for Kibaki to leave State House, as the new leadership and staff of State House waved at a man whose hallmarks include free primary education and development of infrastructure, all planned to perfection, including the choice of song for the band. Translated, asking God to guide and be with the former president, as Kibaki drove off with a car with private number plates as opposed to the stretch limo he left in earlier that morning, bringing to a close a day that had been filled with emotion.
Asanteni wananchi. Excuse me.
Pomp, color, and rhythm.